Now, this Wednesday, we mark Australia Day. And outside of the repetitive debate about whether it's a day of white colonial shame or not, in recent years, I've got to say, I've received as many emails from Sky News viewers and radio listeners about the lack of celebration on Australia Day, forgetting the date debate. COVID-19 has certainly not helped the cause, but when senior council staff make decisions about reducing the number of Australian flags flying on the day, for instance, because that may offend some ratepayers, we do have a problem where cancel culture bites again. Now, Deborah from Umina on the New South Wales Central Coast wrote to me about this yesterday, and she said, our photos attached were taken in 2017 with 20 Australian flags down the main street of Umina Beach. There they are there. We are all very proud to celebrate Australia Day on the 26th. However, Central Coast Council will not allow us to put the Australian flag up in our main street for Australia Day or ANZAC Day. Their manager says we might offend some people. This is just nonsense. We are proud to be Australians and proud to fly our country's flag. Our grandparents fought under this flag through 2 world wars to protect our country. And we will continue our argument with Council to have our flags flying again. Good on her. Thank you, Deborah, for the note. That decision, if true, is an outrage. It's so weak, it's so pathetic on a day in which every Australian has so much to be grateful for. So we did some digging on this today. Now, no use trying to contact the Central Coast Council for answers. It's in administration, as you may know, and the phone call we made had us waiting online for more than half an hour. But we discovered that Deborah was spot on. We've found Australia's most shameful local council this Australia Day. Joining me now is Matthew Wales, President of the Peninsula Business Chamber, which covers that part of the Central Coast. Matt, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, Chris.
Now, tell me, have you had any discussions or been in any meetings where preparations for Australia Day have been discussed in that area?
Chris, we've tried for several years now to have our Australian flag banners flying back again in the main street of Umina Beach with absolutely no success. We cannot get Central Coast Council to agree to reinstall the banners on our special days, being Australia Day and ANZAC Day. They simply refuse and have said that, in their view, flying the banners, the Australian flag banners, may offend some people. I don't accept that. I won't accept that. And we will be continuing to push Council to have these flags reinstalled next Australia Day and next ANZAC Day.
So there's been a definitive, conscious decision to get rid of Australian flags on these big Australian days, including Australia Day. And who's making decisions like that? Some bureaucrat in the department, obviously, or some bureaucrat in Council?
Well, it's disappointing from my perspective that we have council officers who are servants of the public making these decisions on behalf of the community without any consultation at all, and certainly no consultation with us, despite our repeated attempts to extract commitments from the Central Coast Council. It is just so frustrating, particularly when you saw from those images, Chris, just how fantastic they looked. And we had such a huge... the community really backed us when we ran them for several years. They were excited, they were proud, and they said, how good is that? And that was what we want to see on Australia Day.
So what do you think has happened here? Have they reacted? Has some council public servant reacted to real complaints from ratepayers on the Central Coast, do you think? Or just is some kind of moral crusader who's just acted on gut feel?
Well, if there have been complaints, we are totally unaware of them. Nobody has come to us and said, we don't want the Australian flag flying, and nor should they, to be quite honest. And Council will not tell us whether they've had any response from the public from those times that we had those flags installed. So we simply don't know. I hope it's not just an internal agenda run by some council staff because they don't agree with the day, with Australia Day, and to them what it represents. But to me, because our fathers and our forefathers fought in world wars and other conflicts under that flag, I'm very proud to have that flag flying in our main street, 20 of them. And they look fantastic. We feel proud. The community felt proud. And I'm just so disappointed that we'll miss again this Australia Day and probably this ANZAC Day whilst we continue this battle with Central Coast Council.
There is something terribly wrong with this entire entity. Firstly, we had councillors who allowed the budget to blow out by about $600 million. And now you've got an administrator who's trying to recoup that, where we've got ratepayers' rates going up almost every year for the next 10. They know that that's happening. But then this doesn't come from a group of councillors. This comes from within the council department. Just appalling.
This is really disturbing because it's not a decision that's made by elected officials, as it would have been in the past. This is a decision made by bureaucrats. And I get a little bit offended by that because they don't represent us.
No.
We pay them to do a job. So they should represent us and do our bidding, but they're not. So this is really upsetting and really disturbing. And from our business chamber's perspective, we want that rectified. We want a commitment from the Administrator, Rick Hart, and from the new CEO, David Farmer, that they will support the reinstallation of these banners next Australia Day. And I have to say, Chris, we're prepared to pay for them. We're not asking council to pay for them. We'll pay for them as long as they put them up, but they won't do that. You
shouldn't have to pay for them. It should be the obligation of all local councils, especially this cracked up Central Coast Council. I thank you, Matthew, for your time, and thank you for bringing it to the public's attention.
My pleasure, Chris. Anytime.
Okay, Matthew Wales, and once again, thank you to Deborah for writing me that letter. Can you believe that rot?